Hello and welcome to the beginner workshop for Google Docs. My name is Sarah Labens and we're going to start with the basics for today. So you're going to start at google.com and I will upload this video so everyone can access it from Google Classroom. You're going to choose your account. If you don't already have it saved, it's going to be just your email address, the same one you use for work. And that is your account name that you're going to be using. You can go ahead and log in, same password as your email account for Outlook, and then it'll probably bring you to the home page. Up here where you see this little grid, these are the Google apps. Now there are so many apps. We're going to learn about a few of them today. We're going to focus on Google Drive, which is essentially a place for you to keep all of your files. It's similar to the idea of the H drive, where you can keep all of your documents and presentations and images on the computer here at work, or it's similar to the V drive, which is another folder that all staff can access that has documents like the schedule, duties, and things like that. I'm also going to briefly show you Google Slides and Google Docs. So we will start off in Drive. So again, this is a place where you can keep all of your documents. I often will upload everything from my H drive to Google Drive, so it's another place for me to keep everything just in case. Sometimes other coworkers will share things with me so we can collaborate. And you do have a lot of space that you can use. It's all in the cloud, which means that it's not saved on the computer, it's saved on a server, so it's not going to be something that could be lost if for some reason the computers aren't able to be accessed. So I'll show you, I have some things here. I have items that are shared with me, so that means someone else created them and decided to share it, so you could see. And I have things that I share with myself from my personal account. Here's the presentation that you saw this morning with the other presenters. So Doug originally created this document and then shared it with us so we could be able to access it. I could add some pretty pictures. We could give each other some comments and feedback. So once you're in an actual document or a presentation, you can click here. This will always be at the top left, and that'll bring you back home. And this is going to bring me home to Google Slides. So when you think of slides, the word slides, you think of hopefully not a playground slide, but a place that has different slides from a slideshow. So I actually use this in my classroom. These are different presentations that students have shared with me. I did a Google Earth project. I'll show you a few examples later on. But this is going to be a place where you can create something similar to a PowerPoint. It looks very similar. You can add transitions, you can add images. They'll give you themes that you can apply so it looks a certain way without having to add the colors yourself. And you can always save it and name it so you know what it's called later. So we'll get into that a bit more in a little while. The next app I'm going to briefly show you, and remember everything's right up here in the little grid. I'm going to show you Google Docs, very similar to Google Slides, except here you're making a document. So again, very similar to Microsoft Word. You could see for the 8th grade CARES group, we have all of our documents on Google, which is nice to access. My colleagues in foreign language and I share things on here. We have our newsletter on here. So it is a nice place to access these things and be able to collaborate with others. So to create a new one, you click here, plus, to add one. And again, it looks very similar to Microsoft Word. I can rename it, give it a title so I can find it, and everything you save is going to be in your drive, which is again kind of like your H drive. So again, up at the left to go back home, and then I can go over to my little grid, which is all of my icons, and I can take a look. I can go to my drive, my big folder, and I'll be able to see all of the things I just created. So you can organize them by last modified, so last changes that were made, the file size, who made it, the name. So the folders will start off first But then you could see here is the example I made today for the document and the example I made today for slides. The last thing I'm going to show you in this video is, let's see, perhaps I will show you Classroom very briefly, and then we'll take questions if you have them. So I personally use Edmodo over Google Classroom for various reasons I'll explain. But here's the group that everyone's going to be joining today. And it'll have all of your classes on that home screen. Again, if you want to get back, you can click up here and you can see your classes. So here is the staff group, and you could see that Principal Cochiola is the leader of this group, and the four of us all together are facilitating it. And throughout the day, you'll notice that more people are joining the group. So hopefully this video, which you will have access to whenever needed, will be helpful for you to access Google Slides, Google Drive, and Google Docs, and finally Google Classroom. Thank you for listening.